the mysterious passenger. Randy was a hardworking driver for an online motorcycle taxi service, navigating the bustling streets of Jakarta every day. It was a typical evening when he decided to accept one last ride before heading home. The request came from an unfamiliar area near the outskirts of the city, a dimly lit neighborhood known for its eerie stories. Shrugging off the unease, Randy drove to the pickup point. As he approached, he noticed a woman standing under a flickering streetlight. She was wearing a long black dress, her face partially obscured by her hair. "Good evening," Randy greeted her with a smile. The woman nodded, but said nothing. She climbed onto the back of the bike, her cold hands brushing against Randy's shoulder as she adjusted herself. He shivered slightly but dismissed it as the cool night air. "Where to, miss?" he asked, turning to glance at her. She finally spoke, her voice soft and distant. "To the cemetery on Jalan Raya Selatan." Randy's stomach dropped. The cemetery was notorious for its ghost stories, but he didn't want to appear unprofessional. "All right," he said, forcing a smile, and started the engine. The ride was eerily quiet. Randy couldn't help but notice that the woman's grip on his waist was unusually light, as if she wasn't entirely there. When they passed under streetlights, her reflection didn't appear in the rearview mirror. "Just tired," he muttered to himself, trying to shake off the creeping dread. As they neared the cemetery, the air grew colder. A thick mist began to envelop the road, making it difficult to see. Suddenly, Randy felt a sharp chill run down his spine. The woman began to hum a haunting melody, her voice echoing unnaturally in the silence. Unable to contain his curiosity, Randy glanced back. To his horror, the woman's face was pale and lifeless, her eyes hollow and dark, her lips twisted into a chilling smile. "Thank you for taking me home," she said, her voice dripping with an unnatural echo. Panicking, Randy slammed the brakes. The woman disappeared in an instant, leaving only a cold breeze behind. He looked around frantically, but the road was empty. Shaking, Randy checked his phone. To his shock, the app showed the ride as completed and the payment was processed. Confused and terrified, he sped away from the cemetery, vowing never to return to the area. When he told his fellow drivers about the incident the next day, their faces turned pale. "You met her," one of them said. "She's the ghost of a bride who died in a crash on her wedding day. She's been haunting Ojek drivers ever since, looking for someone to take her to her final resting place." Randy never accepted rides from unknown areas again. But sometimes, when he checks his app at night, he swears he still sees her name pop up, requesting a ride to the cemetery.